Welcome back. Well, we're coming to you live from Mumbai tonight on our election special, and one of the big focuses this evening is on whether the voter turnout in this infamously apathetic city will be different in this gendered election. Last time in 2009, the voter turnout in Mumbai was just over 41%, possibly the worst turnout or the lowest turnout since 1977. So that tells you a lot, but so much has changed since then. Of course, even the 26/11 attack didn't bring out a large number of voters as many had expected given the outrage. But Delhi really surprised everyone this time in the assembly elections, where you had areas in South Delhi like Greater Kailash that saw 70% turnout. These were areas that had 40% turnouts in the past. The AAP, of course, was a huge factor in that. Will that be the case in Mumbai as well? Medha Patkar, does the AAP really believe that it will be able to replicate in Mumbai what it did in Delhi? Because the political factors here in this city are very, very different. You have the Shiv Sena, you have the MNS, you have very different political equations at play here. What makes you so confident that you can replicate the success of Delhi?
You see, because Mumbai's 72% population is in slums, and the rest, which is belonging to the middle class, really now know that both the parties and both alliances have been cheating them, whether it is in infrastructure, where also their whole planning and alignment is to benefit some real estate developer or other, and it really wastes crores of rupees, and where there is no need for skywalk, there is a skywalk spending 25 crores, while there are no drainage within the not only slums but even the multi-storied buildings. We know that the Mahada residents to the SRA beneficiaries are cheated, and the builders are the politicians themselves. This whole corruption lobby has really taken a toll of the Mumbai's land as well as water, and the extra benefit to the power companies have kept many people, lakhs of people in the darkness. So in this context, whatever Congress may promise and whatever BJP may promise, they know that these basic issues and basic rights have never been debated even in the assembly, leave aside the parliament, by the members of parliaments who were elected time and again. So people feel that a new face and a new alternative and a commitment equivalent to the social activist commitment is what would make a change. And decentralized development planning is the agenda of Aam Aadmi Party, and the people also feel that that is what will give them power to people, and politics will become people's politics. That is why we feel there is a hope.
In a sense, you're saying that the basic issues, the undercurrents are the same about corruption and governance, and therefore I take this question to Milind Deora first, because he's from South Mumbai, which actually has, even by Mumbai standards, the lowest voter turnout of all. One, Milind, do you think that this time it's going to be different, and why? And B, would it then be foolish of any of the parties, any of the other parties, Congress and BJP included, to dismiss the AAP factor in Mumbai? Yes, it's a different city, but everyone was dismissive of their performance in Delhi initially, and then look what happened.
Well, firstly, I hope it will be different. I hope, regardless of who people vote for, that people come out and vote in larger numbers than they have in the past. That's one thing I hope for, apolitically. Frankly, I don't personally dismiss any political party or any individual who fights against me in elections. In the last two elections that I fought, and in this one, there are a lot of people who fight against me from South Mumbai especially, because South Mumbai is a very prestigious seat to fight from. Some fight to win, some fight to defeat someone else, some fight for personal profiling. Whatever be the reason, I treat everybody seriously, I give them respect, I fight with dignity, I don't make it a personality contest, I fight on issues. I think, to be fair, every constituency has different dynamics in Mumbai, and if you ask me frankly, who is my biggest opponent, I would probably say it's one of the Senas. Having said that, do I discount parties like AAP and Samajwadi and BSP and others who will fight against me? No. I will treat them seriously, I will give them respect, of course, but also a lot of it depends on the candidate. With due respect to Medha ji, who I have a lot of respect for, I think she's a whole different cup of tea from the other candidates of AAP in Mumbai. I think she has more credibility under her belt as an activist and someone who's done things than maybe others do. So I think different constituencies and candidates also affect the local factors on the ground. But I don't think any political party should treat any other political party or even an independent, frivolously or be overconfident. That's the way I fight my election campaigns time and time again, and that's not going to change for me at all.
Okay, Shaina, I'll take that to you. Does the BJP...
No, I welcome that. I mean, Milind is entitled to his form of politics, but I think the point you raised, Nidhi, is very important. You saw a huge voting percentage in Delhi, but you saw the same in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, where there was no AAP. So I think all in all, if you make an analysis, the voter has definitely become much more aware of his or her rights, and this time you have 45% of your electorate who is below 35 years of age, and we're very hopeful that they will all come out and vote. The apathy of the voter is something that is worrying, because last time, despite 26/11 and despite it happening in South Mumbai, you had areas like Kulaba which saw almost 37% voting. So I really hope we can double it, if not more. The voter needs to realize that there is a fundamental duty as well when you try to criticize. But coming back to the previous point of the manifesto, I only want to question that when you give tall claims like we're going to give 10 crore jobs in 5 years, where is it coming from? 1 trillion crores for infrastructure projects, where is it coming from? So don't just give pieces of paper, say how you're going to implement it. The public is anyway deciding about who he or she wants to vote, and I hope that larger numbers come, because then it's a mandate on stability and progress, and for that matter...
But on this issue of voter turnouts and more young people voting in particular, would you at least give credit to AAP for changing the dynamics of this election, if nothing else?
I was only making a relative comparison, because in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, you didn't have AAP, and still you had 75%.
Sure, but those are states that generally vote much better than the national capital in Mumbai.
You're making a comparison study of Delhi, yes, as well as...
Yeah.
Nidhi, while I agree with you that AAP has changed the dynamic, and I think AAP as a new party has to kind of, be this gadfly, be controversial, grab the headlines, sometimes grabbing the headlines a lot for the wrong reasons, somewhere along the way trying to be even suicidal in the kind of attacks that it has been making. And here I am referring specifically to the media, because the media is not your opposition. The media is someone who will reflect what you have to say, and you have to carry the media with you. But having said that, I think that the AAP, really I think today has squandered a lot of the goodwill that it started.
Because I want to take that to Chetan on the point, because you made this point very strongly as well about what the AAP squandered, and therefore why it would be difficult for them to replicate Delhi.
Yeah, I mean, AAP in January and AAP today is two very different AAPs. When they won, of course, they had a huge surge in goodwill, so that definitely they gained, and then they kind of squandered it a little bit, because a segment which really looked up to them, they didn't perform as well, and maybe they had reasons to do it, but I think definitely there has been a certain squandering of support. So how AAP will do is a separate debate almost, but definitely the voting percentages are going to be higher, A, because of AAP, B, because of some very new personalities like Modi. He wasn't there in the last election. There's a lot of Gujarati community in Bombay waiting to vote for Modi. Rahul Gandhi wasn't there in the last election. So there's a lot of, and you do feel kind of sad for the Congress, because Milind is a good candidate, I think. I mean, he's my friend from Mumbai. But at the end of the day, to save like a Kalmadi, to save a Raja, to save 2-3 different people, they've kind of lost so much that I hope they're reflecting that was it worth it. Maybe it's a perception game or whatever. But definitely percentage is going to be higher than 41%. I'm guessing it's going to be around 60. It's still going to be below the national average, but it's going to be...
60 is very, very good. Milind wanted to make a point before I come back to Medha Patkar. Yes, Milind.
No, I was just going to say that Mumbai is a very different political animal compared to Delhi in many ways. One is Mumbai is primarily driven by economic activity, whether you're a stockbroker, whether you're a panwala on the street, whether you're a trader, you are driven by who can best create an environment which is conducive to economic activity. And I think that in that sense, there are some parties who have an advantage in that sense, who've allowed Mumbai to maintain harmony, and there are many others who, whether it's the politics of bunds or the politics of dharnas, these things don't augur well with Mumbaikas. And I think in that sense, I don't know if AAP has the same excitement that they in Mumbai that they had in Delhi, because I see Delhi also as a MP and a minister having lived there.
Let me just get to Medha. Medha, on the question of how the AAP has changed, which Chetan raised, the AAP in January and the AAP today. You know, I was in Mumbai just a few days ago actually, and you know, a driver was telling me that you know what Arvind's ideas are very good and what he says is very good, लेकिन उन्होंने छोड़ दिया, वो भाग गए. So, you know, you get a sense that upset a lot of people in Delhi, but that's also left an impression in the minds of others that he wasn't willing to take on the challenge of governance when it came down to it.
I think this is more media created question than the masses raised question. And that is because everyone knows that Arvind Kejriwal did not run away like Baba Ramdev did. He was rather, his government was thrown into minority, and hence our party had to take a strategic decision not to remain there as a puppet when Congress BJP had joined hands and they had not even allowed historically an exceptional thing that the chief minister to speak in the assembly. So it was very obvious that not just Jana Lokpal, but on no issue would they allow the cabinet to take a decision, and in any case the code of conduct was to come in. So in that context, I think it was the best move to go back to people. That is what in a way the Supreme Court directed the Congress BJP to take a decision, either to run a government jointly or to allow the elections. Something has to be done. So I think the decision is to contest the elections again, not to run away from the governance, and the fresh wave, the fresh paradigm, the fresh political process, the fresh consciousness that the party has brought to people and to itself, I think will win the battle even this time. And there will be a new change and new wave in politics. This is the difference that is felt and experienced between January and March, and it will be much more in our favor in the coming days.